A warm welcome from Syracuse, New York. It's game one of the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. And tonight, the undefeated Syracuse Orange are set to host the 6-1 Maryland Terrapins. This is the first of 14 games on tap over the next 4 days between these two power conferences, highlighted by a pair of top 25 matchups coming up on Wednesday, Miami at Minnesota, and on Thursday in the nightcap, number 3 Michigan State takes on number 5 Notre Dame. From inside the Carrier Dome, speaking of Notre Dame, alongside a former Notre Dame Fighting Irish great, LaFonso Ellis, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Great to have you along for Monday Night Hoops in college basketball. And a lot of these late November games have felt like late March games, Fonz. Some terrific college basketball. Tonight should be no different. These two facing each other in their toughest non-conference matchup so far.
And this game is going to come down to point guard play. Anthony Cowan has been spectacular this year for Maryland, really initiating the offense, scoring it well. 21 points in his last game. And for Syracuse, Frank Howard has to continue his progression. He's been dominant as of late. 25 points in his last game. The outcome of that matchup is going to determine this game.
I know this season in Fonz's focus, you like to touch on the underdogs, and Maryland is the underdog on the road tonight.
Especially coming into the Carrier Dome where it's so difficult to shoot the rock. They have to take care of the basketball. They have 3 games on this season so far with 20 or more turnovers, have to take care of the rock. And they also have to get some points in the paint, half court and in transition.
A big-time matchup like this gets big-time officials. John Gaffney, Jamie Luckey, Ted Valentine. 14 Final Fours officiated between that veteran crew. Maryland's in the road blacks, Syracuse in the home white. And the Terps control the opening tip. The point guard, number 1 in black, Anthony Cowan Jr., gives it up to Dion Wiley.
And Rich, look for number 4 in black, Kevin Herter, to play at that ACC area. Is going to be important for him to make good decisions. Didn't make one there.
Immediately, the first turnover of the game, and Frank Howard gets fouled. And we were talking to Mark Turgeon earlier today at practice, and he said they've been turning the ball over 1 out of every 4 possessions. You're not going to win a lot of ball games.
Yeah, usually sure-handed Kevin Herter has been taking care of. Usually he's really good with the basketball, but he's been turning it over at a high clip as well. 3 turnovers per game on the season. They have to take care of the ball tonight.
What a turnaround it's been so far for number 23, Frank Howard, the 6'5 junior out of Suitland, Maryland. He grew up about 15 minutes from the Maryland campus, came here to Syracuse. He's the 7th starting point guard in the last 7 years for Jim Boeheim, but he's starting to provide some stability at that position.
Yeah, playing with a lot of confidence. There's no question that he's been talented. Just last year, he's playing behind John Gillen. Make a mistake, was getting pulled out right away, and so his confidence waned, but he's playing with a high level of confidence so far this season.
Tchaikovsky turns and scores, and this is a much bigger Maryland basketball team than Mark Turgeon has had in years past.
Yeah, the free throw line in the short corners of the areas that you need to attack. Maryland doing a nice job here early.
There's the first touch for Tyus Battle, battling from a back injury, and he turns it over. There's Jim Boeheim, his 42nd season at Syracuse. That's the most for any coach with his current school, and you always have to do a little math when you count the wins for the Hall of Famer. 908 on-court wins, but if you add the 101 that were taken away, he is over 1,000 in his Hall of Fame career.
Unbelievable.
Here's Wiley for 3. And the freshman sensation O'Shea Brissett gets his first rebound. Close to averaging a double-double for the freshman. He's not been a pleasant surprise, but maybe progressed a little faster than the coaching staff thought.
He's definitely been the surprise of this season, and they're going to need his offense against this 2-3 zone.
John Gaffney says it was off Barama Sidibe, and it's going to be Maryland basketball. And there's Mark Turgeon in his 7th season with the Terps, 20th overall as a head coach, and all he's done is win 79 games in his last 3 years. That's a 26-game average at Maryland, 3 straight NCAA appearances.
It's been miraculous what he's been able to do, but he's usually a little older and likes it. Wow, another turnover from that spot from Herter.
Frank Howard, the easy 2.
And Rich, we talked about that at the top. You cannot turn the basketball over against this Syracuse team. Their wings are so good when they get out in transition. Excellent finishers at the rim.
Inside to Herter, back outside to Justin Jackson.
Shot fake.
He's really struggled offensively at the start of the season. That's a great sign for Maryland.
Really is. I watched him in warm-ups today, and he didn't look confident shooting the basketball and shoot around, but toward the end, he started to get hot, made about 8 threes in a row. Looked very comfortable on that pull-up, Jay.
Preseason All Big Ten, Justin Jackson has his first 2. Here's the freshman Brissett. Nice take on the left side off the window. First 2 of the game for O'Shea Brissett, the 6'8" freshman out of Ontario.
Yeah, lack of communication there. You got to let the guard know that a screen is coming, and he's got to adjust his positioning and make the ball handler go over the top. Didn't do it, opened up that baseline side, and that's how he was able to get to the rim.
Cowan tries it from deep. And the offensive rebound by Jackson, who averages over 9 boards a game. Here's Herter for 3. He's got about 300 friends and family in town. He grew up about a 2-hour drive from Syracuse in Clifton Park, New York. And Kevin Herter, the Red Mamba, they call him, has his first points of the game.
And Rich, the 3-point shot will be there, but I like the inside out, whether in the post or on the drive. That was a great job there by Maryland.
And a great follow by Sidibe, his first 2.
Well, this is a team that's been punishing teams on the offensive glass. Syracuse is averaging 16 offensive rebounds a game. Got to get a body if you're Maryland.
Well, if you like rebounding, if you like big guys banging underneath, this is the game for you. Maryland, number 3 in the nation in rebounding margin, topped by Syracuse, who's number 2 in that category.
Indeed, another Maryland turnover. And folks, this is a Syracuse team that's a lot taller and longer than last year's team, and if you don't get a body on guys, they do a great job of getting to the rim. But I love the ball movement from Maryland. Goes inside out that time by the dribble and able to collapse that defense, finding a wide open Herter from the corner.
Another offensive rebound, and Sidibe's got his second putback. 6'10" freshman from Newark, played for that vaunted program, St. Benedict's.
Yeah, this is where I think Maryland's got to go to Bruno Fernando, number 23 in black. Got to get him into the game. He's a much more physical presence on the interior than the current players for Maryland.
He's a big energy giver to this Terps team. There's a 3 from Jackson, and if he gets on track, look out, this offense could really explode.
Yeah, he shot 44% from the 3-point line last year, but just not been shooting the basketball well. Settling for Jays, and I like the fact he turned down the first 3 to get a pull-up, Jay, to get his confidence going.
Here's Battle, speaking of pull-ups. Around and out, and it's 1 and done for the Cuse. Nice fast break, and Cowan finishes on the other end. Anthony Cowan Jr., a 6-foot sophomore out of Bowie, Maryland, 33 minutes a game. He is the workhorse for Mark Turgeon.
Does such a wonderful job leading this team, and it's going to be interesting to see the identity of this team. I talked to Coach Turgeon today and saying in the last 2 minutes of the game, who do you get the basketball to?
What a take. That's Marek Dolezaj with his first 2.
And he said he didn't know who that guy would be because over the last 3 years it's been Melo Trimble. But I think early on, Cowan will be that guy that they get it too late.
They go inside out, trying to battle that 2-3 zone that Jim Boeheim and Syracuse practice better than anybody in the country. And Teddy Valentine whistles Maryland for a foul. It'll be a timeout on the floor, 14:45 to go, and we are knotted at 12 in Game 1 of the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
And folks, we talked about the importance of getting paint points. How about 6'7" Kevin Herter handling the rock? Beautiful bounce pass underneath the Cowan.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Dos Equis. Stay thirsty. Please enjoy Dos Equis responsibly.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. It's Game 1 of 14 games in the Big Ten ACC battle. Syracuse and Maryland tied at 12 with 14:45 to go. Rich Hollenberg, LaFonso Ellis inside the Carrier Dome. Tyus Battle is going to take this Syracuse team as far as it could possibly go this year, leading the team in scoring with 20 points, but a scary moment in their last game against Toledo on this floor. He went down hard and bruised his back. It looked ugly, but obviously you see him on the floor already. I talked to him before the game and I said, "You 100%?" And he just kind of smiled at me and didn't answer, which leads us to believe he's not 100%, but he's as tough as they come, Fonz.
Yeah, last year he was penciled in as the starting 2 until graduate transfer Andrew White showed up, but he really got going down the stretch. 18 points a game over the last 7 games of last year's season.
Frank Howard commits the turnover there. Coming into this game, Howard had 26 assists and just 12 turnovers. That's a good ratio for Jim Boeheim, but he committed the turnover and the foul on that play.
Yeah, the good thing about it is we don't have to worry about him losing confidence after he turned it over. Whenever he would have a miscue last year, lost his confidence because he knew he was going to get the quick hook. When he makes a mistake this year, he's the guy. He's not going anywhere.
Some impressive numbers for number 23. 15.8 points a game, 5.2 assists per game. That assist total leads this Orange club. And he picks it off. That's his 3rd steal of the game already. Here's Howard. And Brissett with the big rebound. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay Syracuse ball. 27 on the shot clock.
Tell you what, Rich, as we watch this Maryland team here, every time Syracuse takes a shot, they are not seeking bodies to box out. Everybody's ball watching, and this is a long, athletic Syracuse team, and they're doing a great job of getting to the offensive glass.
Here's Dolezaj outside. Another freshman getting entrusted some quality minutes from Jim Boeheim, and Dolezaj promptly turns it over. Jim Boeheim usually loath to give minutes to the youngsters, but it's a new day and age in college basketball. Not only is he playing youngsters, but he has Geno Thorpe, a graduate transfer. 2nd year in a row they've had graduate transfers in this Syracuse program. Times are a-changing, and Jim Boeheim is acclimating to those changes.
He's been very patient with this group here early. Got to allow them to grow.
That's a nice bucket by Darryl Morsell. Talk about freshmen contributing. A 6'4" freshman out of Baltimore, and he's got a little bit of a gimpy hamstring. They're lucky to have him on the floor.
Well, before he got injured, he was balling 11, 13, and 15 points in 3 consecutive games. They're going to need that kind of output from him tonight.
Dolezaj off the feed from Howard. 4 points early for Marek Dolezaj.
What we're also seeing from Maryland is they're having a difficult time of containing the basketball off the dribble drive. They have no shot to beat Syracuse if they can't contain the drive.
Morsell will try it again. Off to the left. Jamie Luckley whistles the foul. That's going to go on the freshman Bruno Fernando, and it's Syracuse basketball. Tied at 14, almost 7 minutes gone by in the first half. Game 1 of 14 games between the ACC and the Big Ten. This is the 19th season they've held the ACC Big Ten Challenge. The ACC has dominated for the most part. 11 total victories over the years. Brissett, pretty. And we're seeing a bunch of freshmen contributing early.
But you see how each time down the floor, Syracuse is able to get into the painted area at will. Maryland's going to have to tighten up their dribble drive defense here. Syracuse is getting anything they want off the drive.
Maryland's one loss this year came at the hands of St. Bonaventure, who surprised them by going zone almost the entire game.
Little 1-3-1 action, and they didn't respond well in that game. Ended up getting a loss, and so they should have some experience against the zone. They got to be a lot more aggressive when they get into that area.
With 2 on the shot clock, another freshman, Bruno Fernando from Angola, by way of IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida, gets his first 2.
We've seen Darryl Morsell, number 10 in black, make 2 consecutive good decisions when he caught that basketball in that area. First time for a score, this time for the pass.
There's a fresh 30 for Syracuse. And the 3 knocked down by Frank Howard. That's the first triple of the game for the Orange.
That shot looks nice and compact, and he's shooting it with a lot of confidence. Morsell's got to show his hands a bit more. His hands are a little too low.
There's Morsell, undersized in the center of that zone offense. We got another timeout on the floor. Syracuse with a 3-point lead and 11:34 to go. And when we come back, we're going to get Fonz teaching us how to handle this 2-3 zone. But early on, it's Syracuse and Frank Howard with the 3-point lead.
Folks, when you're playing against the Syracuse zone, there's two places that you have to attack. One is the foul line area. The other are the short corners along the baseline. And because of the length of Syracuse, you have to make quick, decisive movements down there. Let's take a look at a couple. Come on, Rich. That's much better. That's what you need to do against the Syracuse zone. Quick, decisive movements. Way to go, Rich.
Count it.
Now, folks, let's look at how this basketball moves, and when it hits the short corner here, look at how he makes a quick, decisive move to the basket. Michael Tchaikovsky doing a tremendous job, and that is exactly how you attack the zone from the short corner.
A lot of teams get lulled into shooting three-pointers. Right now, Maryland 2 for 6 from three, but 7 for 12 overall from the field. If they get it inside, they've been effective.
Absolutely. Got to continue to get that basketball into that ACC area or the skip pass. Nicely done.
Big-to-big passing. That's Bender to Fernando. And as we said, this is a much bigger, thicker Maryland team than we've seen in years past.
What a finish by Bruno Fernando. My goodness.
One of a staple of international players on this Maryland roster. Battle knocks down the three, and that's a good sign for Syracuse fans. First points of the game for their leading scorer.
36% from three on the year. That back looked good on that stroke.
Tyus Battle really coming into his own, becoming the dude for Syracuse.
Nice skip pass.
And it works.
Jarrett Nickens, that zone has to find him. 56% from three. 10 of his 12 made field goals have been from three. Now make that 11 of 13.
Yeah, he's now 11 of 19 from three-point range this season. Nice lob inside. And Chukwu, the tallest player in Syracuse history, gets his first two of the game.
I know they depend on him for his shot blocking, but he's got a good left and right hand around that rim as well.
There's another three. This one's off the mark. And we've got a foul on the floor. Well, as we mentioned, it's the Big Ten ACC Challenge. This is game one, but on Wednesday we have Michigan taking on the 13th ranked Tar Heels in Chapel Hill at 7:30. Then it's #1 undefeated Duke and Indiana from Assembly Hall. It's going to be another great night of hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app.
How about Marvin Bagley III? Oh my goodness, over 30 points per game in the last two games and 15 rebounds to boot.
Freshman of the week and player of the week.
Oh, he's been spectacular. And how about those two comebacks? They were down deep double-digit leads and still were able to get back in that game. Much of it on his hands. He is an extraordinary player.
And Fonz, as you love to hear, it's another example of this being the year of the bigs in college basketball. No one loves that more than you.
Absolutely. DeAndre Ayton at Arizona, though they've taken it on the chin. Three losses in a row.
Foul on the floor, 24-21, Syracuse with the lead. Let's take a look at this week's menu, brought to you by Panera Bread. And obviously we're talking Big Ten ACC Challenge, Louisville and Purdue. That should have been a top 25 matchup, but Purdue took a couple of tough losses this past week. Michigan and North Carolina, Duke and Indiana, as we mentioned. And how about #5 Notre Dame taking on #3 Michigan State in East Lansing? Both of those teams coming off big early season tournament victories.
Yeah, Bonzi Colson has been really picked up from where he was last year. An instant double-double, over 20 points a game, over 10 rebounds a game. He's been terrific for the Irish.
Dolezaj probably should have shot that himself. He tried for the extra pass and coughed it up. And a huge finish by Fernando. He looks marvelous.
Well, when he comes off the bench, he provides them such a level of energy on both ends of the floor. We've seen him dunk it on the baseline there, and now he's getting out in transition and running. He's going to be a star. Only a freshman, folks.
You would think someone of his ilk, with his size and talent, 3 blocks in 4 straight games, but he could bring it on the offensive end. Take a listen.
That's just ridiculous. A lot of power right there, Rich.
And look at Cowan. The length of the floor, but he had it blocked. Great transition defense by Chukwu. And Fernando's there with the follow, and he gets fouled and will go to the line.
Rich, we said earlier that with the way this game was going on the interior for Maryland, that they needed to get Bruno Fernando in the basketball game. His energy, his effort, his intensity has been contagious since he's been in. He is a magnificent runner of the floor for his size, 6'10", 245 pounds.
All you need to know about Bruno Fernando, his favorite player, Kevin Garnett.
Really?
And this makes me feel old by saying this, but Kevin Garnett's like old school now.
The big ticket.
How about that?
I played with him in Minnesota. And you talk about energy and effort, no one better than Kevin Garnett.
Well, Maryland definitely dipping into the international waters in their recruiting efforts. Fernando from Angola obviously went to high school at IMG, but take a look at this list. A lot of their bigs are from overseas. Justin Jackson from north of the border in Canada. Sean Obi, a graduate transfer, played at Duke for a while from Nigeria. And Tchaikovsky is going to be a key to their success in the ACC and the Big Ten Challenge, certainly tonight.
Strong international flavor for the Terps. It's too quick of a shot there. Syracuse fortunate to retain possession of the rock.
That's off Bender's hand. It'll stay Syracuse basketball.
A little too quick there. You want to get those inside-out threes. And what I mean by inside, you can throw it inside to the painted area, or you can attack the paint off the dribble and then kick it out. Much higher percentage when you're doing it that way.
Talking about international flair, Chukwu to the bench. Barama Sidibe checks into the game. Here's Geno Thorpe, the graduate transfer from USF. Lost it off his leg, and Jamie Luckey says it's going to be Maryland basketball.
Rich, can you see how easily Syracuse is able to attack and get into the gaps? I'll tell you what, Maryland's got to tighten up that area. We've seen them get beaten off a direct line drive several times here in the first half. They're fortunate to actually be up one here at the Carrier Dome. Their defense has not been the way Mark Turgeon would want it to be.
And like most coaches, especially Jim Boeheim, you commit a turnover like that, you take a seat on the bench.
That's exactly right.
A teaching moment even for a graduate transfer. Bender
Nice
goes
skip
pass. Here's Jackson. 10 on the shot clock. 5 to shoot. Inside, Fernando tried to throw it down and was met at the rim.
Much more length across the front line with Sidibe, number 35 in white in, and he's a quick leaper.
Battle wants it back. High hedge by Fernando, and he recovers. 10 on the shot clock for Cuse. Battle, bodies up in the paint. And that's muscle from Tyus Battle.
He's so strong, so good, can score it at all 3 levels. Shoot it from 3, and that was an absolute pro move right there. You can also play him on the block.
Kick ball, subs coming in for Mark Turgeon. We have a timeout on the floor. A close game as we expected in game 1 of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse up by 1.
28 teams, 14 matchups.
All kinds of stars.
That's absolutely beautiful.
One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge.
7 ties, 6 lead changes in game 1 of 14 games between the Big Ten and the ACC. This is the 19th year of this Power Conference Challenge. The ACC leads all time. 11 conference victories to 5 losses and 2 ties overall. They play 14 total games. Only the Pitt Panthers are missing the ACC and Big Ten Challenge this year. And we've got a good one from the Carrier Dome. Rich Hollenberg, LaFonso Ellis, Syracuse up 1, 26-25 on the Maryland Terrapins. How have they done it so far, Fonz?
Well, they've been able to take much better care of the basketball as of late. They turned it over several times in the first 7 minutes of this game, and so they finally settled down and starting to get that basketball into that ACC area, making good plays. We've seen them get it to the ACC area to score. They've been able to throw it short corner, and they've been able to skip it to get some easy ones as well. So their execution against this 2-3 zone so much better over the last 5 minutes of this game.
And yet we've seen the turnover bug bite these Maryland Terrapins. They average 17 turns a game. So you have to credit the 2-3 zone for being effective for Syracuse.
Well, part of that, you got a 6'5" and 6'6" guards up at the top of that zone. Makes it difficult to pass to the wings and to the top.
Battle, good closeout by Herter.
See, this is what Maryland needs. They got to play with pace off missed shots. They've been content to walk the basketball up the floor on misses and turnovers.
And another turnover by Maryland. Here's Battle in transition. Blocked out of bounds by Herter. We're seeing some elite athleticism on the floor tonight on both sides.
There is a lot of length out there on the floor, especially 3, 4s, and 5s. How about this? Able to get back in transition and help your teammate out there. Herter, nice block there.
And they're going to get Justin Jackson for the foul on the miss. I'll tell you one thing, watching Anthony Cowan in transition, there can't be many point guards who are quicker than he is in the country.
Oh, he's a blur, and what we've seen here early, he can't get anyone to run with him, which is why they can't get consistent opportunities in transition. So when he gets that thing out and go, their wings have to get out and run with him. They'll get some easier opportunities.
Syracuse in the bonus, shooting the 1-and-1, and Marek Dolezaj misses the front end.
See, they're walking the ball up the floor. That plays in Syracuse's hands. So now you got to play against that tough 2-3 long and athletic 2-3 zone. They've got to play with some pace.
You see how high Dolezaj is on that zone. It's almost like a 3-2 zone.
Indeed.
10 on the shot clock.
The lob's open behind it if they could see it from the wings.
Now 5 to shoot. Good pass down low to Obi, who gets it up but can't get it in. Obi surrounded by white jerseys. And another miss. The rebound to Brissett.
Wasn't confident on those shots.
Howard leaves it for Sidibe. And it's blocked by Jackson. Sidibe with the left hand. 20 points in the paint for the Cuse.
I tell you what, their stick-to-itiveness on that offensive glass has been impressive here in the first half. They just do not give up, folks. 16 offensive rebounds per game on the year.
Syracuse with the rebounding edge, a major reason why they're up 3 in this game. And a scramble for the loose ball. And Ted Valentine says it'll be Syracuse basketball. Well, as we've told you, the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge rolls on Thursday from the Breslin Center in East Lansing. The 5th-ranked Fighting Irish come to town to take on number 3 Michigan State. This one's going to be on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app. And both of those teams are riding a wave of momentum. Notre Dame came from behind to win the Maui Invitational over Wichita State. And how about those Spartans in the PK80 bracket with their big win over UNC.
A matchup of 2 of the finest frontliners in all of college basketball. 2 preseason Wooden Award candidate guys. Miles Bridges for Michigan State and Bonzi Colson for Notre Dame.
Syracuse, despite having just a 4-point lead, a gaudy 58% from the field so far. Dolezaj knocks them both down.
Yeah, Rich, and we've seen it. They've been able to get anything they've wanted off the drive. The turnovers of Maryland have helped too, especially getting out in transition. Good screen.
And they call an offensive foul. And that gets the crowd off their feet.
I'll tell you what, it's been probably a couple years since I've seen the top of Syracuse's zone so active. Frank Howard is doing a terrific job. He and Tyus Battle, they're 6'5" and 6'6" of just blurring your passing lanes. They've been terrific tonight.
Woo. Beautiful spin move by Brissett, and he follows his own miss. 6 points for the freshman. And a timeout called by Mark Turgeon. 20,000 plus on their feet inside the roundhouse on the hill. Syracuse has its largest lead of the game, 32-25.
Folks, watch this spin move by O'Shea Brissett, and if you don't block this team out, they will kill you on the glass.
Syracuse up by 7 in the first game of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. O'Shea Brissett with 6 points in the first half.
They've done a terrific job here of attacking off the bounce, and his activity here in the first half has been a boon for the Syracuse Orange. He had 17 points in their last game, and he's playing with a lot of confidence for the Orange right now.
Well, we have seen a Canadian revolution in basketball in the United States, and Syracuse fans know it all too well. Tyler Ennis, a few years ago, was the first, but O'Shea Brissett might be one of the best when it's all said and done. There's Herder out of the timeout with a triple.
Was 2 of 10 from 3 in 2 games, but then the last game he was 2 of 4 from the three-point line. They're going to need him to be able to knock down some deep shots against this 2-3 zone.
Nice move by Howard, weaving inside the paint, but he had that one blocked. And the steal by Howard. Inside, Brissett tried to throw it down.
I'll tell you what, we're seeing some ridiculous athleticism on the floor tonight.
The hops.
My goodness.
And another Maryland turnover. Mark Turgeon just turns his head and walks down his side of the bench. You can't believe what he's seeing.
Yeah, Bruno Fernando trying to get inside position there against Sidibe. And, you know, the new rule is they're not going to allow you to displace. Offensive players are not going to be allowed to displace defensive players, and defensive players are not going to be allowed to displace offensive players. I thought that was a really good call by the official. A 2-3 zone of their own. Syracuse got to look to attack that ACC area as well.
There's Sidibe. Got to be careful at the 3-second call. Gets it out for 3. And that's off the mark from Brissett. And a foul's going to be called on Sidibe. A little overly aggressive. 32-28, Syracuse leads with under 4 minutes to go. The Big Ten ACC Challenge already living up to the hype.
Look at Salt and Pepper in mid-season form there.
Connor, get a hold of those guys.
I know, get those guys under control.
You got to wrangle those two. Well, here's a look at Fonz's national headlines. You're not going to Vegas anytime soon. You're picking Arizona out of the top 25. They were one of your final 4 picks. All kidding aside, chances are they're going to rebound and be a top 25 team.
They'll rebound, but their defense has to get a lot better. I mean, they're allowing clean looks from the 3-point line. The defense, and you're talking about a coach Sean Miller who hangs his hat on his defense. Their defense has been deplorable so far in this season, which is why they find themselves 0-3 in that last tournament.
Here at the Dome, Syracuse a 32-28 lead.
Rich got to get that thing to the ACC area. Nice job there.
Herder did. He fed Tchaikovsky, and Tchaikovsky got fouled.
And Rich, to keep that defense honest, every now and then Herder's got to take that shot. That time he had the defensive player, the center, that's Sidibe over there, 4 feet off of him. He's got to be willing to take that shot. Now all of a sudden he comes up. It'll make that angle a little easier to be able to drop that one to the baseline.
We talked to assistant coach Jerry McNamara from Syracuse earlier, and he said the biggest fear of having Kevin Herder in the middle of that zone offense is he's so multiple. He can do so many different things. They have to make him make up his mind.
Well, when they looked at him, they've been watching him for a long time. And at the time, he was like 6'4" and a point guard in high school, but then he grew like 3 inches, so he still has that point guard ability, has that mentality. He's an excellent passer.
Battle from the wing, too strong. Offensive rebound on the weak side, and it's stolen away by Jackson. Here comes Cowan in transition, and he gets it to go.
And Rich, we've not seen that with any consistency tonight from Maryland. Anytime they've gotten Syracuse to miss a shot or they've gotten them to turn it over, they've been casually taking the basketball up the floor. They've got to push and take advantage of their speed, especially from the point guard position.
Under 3 to go. Battle found a seam. Short. And he gets it back. Here's Howard for 3. And Cowan wants to push.
Much better pace.
Herder. He's got it. That's the third 3 of the half for Kevin Herder.
And Rich, look where it came from. The push, sucking in the D, and able to kick it out. They've got to continue to do it, Maryland.
And a 30-second timeout is called with 2:33 to go, and Maryland jumping back on top, 33-32.
And folks, this is what Mark Turgeon wants. He wants Cowan out in transition, pushing the pace of this game. One of the fastest guards in all of the country, and his ability to get down in the gap and finish is tremendous. But now you get him down in the gap and he draws an additional defender, and it'll open up opportunities for them from 3. Maryland's got to continue to push the pace and not play against that set 2-3 zone all evening.
As we mentioned, Kevin Herder playing in front of approximately 300 friends and family who made the trip over from nearby Albany. Clifton Park is where Kevin Herder's from. His dad played at Siena in the Albany area, and he came into this game averaging 10.7 points a game. He already has 9 in the first half. And Mark Turgeon told us he's not going to be adversely affected by playing in front of all these friends and family. He felt really strongly like Kevin Herder was going to have a solid game this night, and so far he is.
He has. He's been shooting that 3 with a lot of confidence. Can't settle for Jays here. Got to attack that ACC area.
Brissett did, but the hands by the Maryland's defense. And Cowan had his shot altered by Battle.
I couldn't see, but that looked like there was a lot of contact on that one.
Alone, Howard for 3. Around and out.
Tell you what, his last 2 have hit every single part of the rim, and the rim's just rejecting it.
Maryland on top by 1. Game 1 of 14 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse undefeated at 5-0. Herder.
He missed it, but I like the fact that he took the shot.
Sometimes that mid-range game is a little tougher than a 3-pointer.
Oh my goodness.
The lob, and Chukwu slams it home from Howard.
And Rich, it's a simple game when you're playing against 2-3 zone. You attack the middle of the floor, it opens up opportunities. And what a beautiful read by Frank Howard on the backside.
Balance scoring for Syracuse. 6 have scored already. No whistle again. A late whistle by Teddy Valentine.
And Cowan was fortunate there because Justin Jackson was wide open to his right. And folks, this is what happens when you attack that open area at the ACC. You force that center to have to step up, and look at the backside wide open. That lob has been there all night long. Frank Johnson. It's why I love Frank Howard, rather. That's why I love tall guards. He's 6'5". He can see over the top. What a beautiful pass and finish there.
Frank Howard already has 6 dimes in the first half.
I've loved that kid since his freshman year, and it was just a matter of time until he stepped in and started to play to the level that we all knew he could, and he's off to a tremendous start for 'Cuse this year.
Anthony Cowan Jr., an 87% free throw shooter coming into tonight. Knocks his first attempt down. He has 5 points, and the lead for the Terps is 2. Make it 3. And there's under a minute to go in the first half. In the first true road game of the season for Maryland, they are hanging tough in a difficult environment to play in, to say the least. Here's the freshman Brissett. Now Howard's going to try and create. 5 on the shot clock. Lost it out of bounds. It'll stay Syracuse ball, but they have 4 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. Tuesday night, we'll have a special edition of the NBA on ESPN when the Nuggets take on the Jazz in Salt Lake City. That's at 10 Eastern, also streaming on the ESPN app. And Dolezal escaped for an easy 2.
Maryland's just losing guys on dribble penetration, not able to see both ball and man.
Shot clock is off. Syracuse up by 1. 10 seconds to go in the half. Three to shoot. Cowan lost it. And time runs out in an entertaining first half in the first game of the 2017 Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse and Maryland, a couple of heavyweights going at it. And Syracuse leads it by 1 going to the break. We've seen elite athleticism on display from Maryland and from the Cuse. Now we go to our guys in the studio, Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg, and Jay Will with our halftime report. This is the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge, and game 1 of 14 between these two power conferences is an entertaining one to say the least. Syracuse leads at 36-35 as we get set to start the second half. The ACC Big Ten Challenge history has gone decidedly towards the ACC, and right now Syracuse is upholding that tradition with the 1-point lead. As we welcome you back inside the Carrier Dome alongside LaFonso Ellis, I'm Rich Hollenberg. And Fonz, it's been a back and forth battle. The lead has changed hands a number of times, and Maryland is hanging tough in a very tough environment to play, but turnovers have really cost them in the first half.
The size and length at the top of that Syracuse zone has caused a lot of problems in that first half for Maryland. Forced 11 turnovers in the first half, 8 of them steals. Frank Howard was tremendous there. He's got 5 steals in the first half, did a great job of finishing in transition. But after some early turnovers, Maryland finally settled down and started to execute well against that 2-3 zone. With finishes like that after touching that ACC area, and then able to get it inside again to the ACC area to skip passes. They shot it so well, 48% from the field, 42% from 3.
So let's take a quick look at your Fonz focus. You always focus on the underdogs, and yes, Maryland was the underdog playing on the road. So how have they done compared to how you expected them?
Well, the turnovers needed to be 14 or less. They're at 11, 8 of those steals for Syracuse. And in terms of points in the paint, Syracuse 4th best among major conferences, only giving up nearly 20. And so far, they've done a decent job in that area, but they got to take care of the basketball and continue to get out in transition to get some early looks. Get more points in the paint, and they have a chance to pull out this win in the Carrier Zone.
Yeah, the big reason why Syracuse is up by 1, 26-12 advantage points in the paint. Syracuse in the home whites starts off with the opening possession. Number 2 in white, Matthew Moyer, didn't see a lot of time on the floor in the first half. He starts the second half.
Maryland's dribble drive containment's got to be better here in the second half. Syracuse was able to get anything that they wanted off the dribble in the first half.
Now 6 on the shot clock.
That was a foul.
Beautiful take by Frank Howard. He had 7 in the first half and has the opening bucket of the second.
Yeah, a little in and out dribble. Anthony Cowan bit on it, and yet another basket given up off the bounce by Maryland.
Number 4 in white, Kevin Herter, led the Terps in scoring with 9. The freshman Darryl Morcell misses the first shot for Terrapins.
He missed the shot, but I like the read. They've got to continue to get it into the ACC area. This is where they have to attack, Rich. They push that. They're not pushing it fast enough. This is a Maryland team that's built for pace. They've got to increase the pace in this game.
Tough lob by Cowan into the teeth of that Syracuse defense. We have a jump ball. It's going to stay Maryland basketball.
Yeah, he never got deep enough to allow Chukwu to come up and bite on it to be able to throw that lob. What a reaction by Chukwu, staying on the ground, staying locked into his guy and not giving up an easy lob.
See what Mark Turgeon does on the out-of-bounds play. They get it to Herter. Top of the key, Cowan. Got it. 3-pointers have been hard to come by. Anthony Cowan has his first of the night.
Well, he along with Frank Howard were the guys that we featured in our open, and Maryland has no shot at winning this game unless Cowan can get it going offensively. It's a good start for him.
He has 9, averaging over 15 a game coming in. Woo! Beautiful take by Tyus Battle. Battling that back injury, but showing no ill signs from it there. 7 points for Battle. Former New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, the sophomore from Edison.
ACC area and look to attack.
Morcell, the freshman, gives it back to Herder. Tough shot, and he uses the glass to knock home another two.
They've done a terrific job. Just when you think the momentum is going Syracuse's way, their half-court execution against that zone, attacking the ACC area, has been superb at times in this game.
Kevin Herder leads all scorers with 11. Moyer. That's what they want to see from Matthew Moyer. Straight line drives using his athleticism and aggression, getting to the hole. He missed that shot. It goes out of bounds, but it'll stay Syracuse basketball.
And folks, again, Maryland's execution against the 2-3 zone, when they've attacked that ACC area, they've been able to get anything that they've wanted. And Herder not just standing out there and taking the open three, but looking to get into the painted area. Paint points are going to be huge for Maryland to pull off this victory.
That ball was tipped out of bounds, and it's going to go Maryland's way. Chance for them to jump back on top. It was a 1-point lead at half. We're tied at 40 with 2.5 minutes gone by in the second.
Bruno Fernando at times along that baseline is wide open for a lob. Let's see if Maryland can find him.
Good shot fake by Morcell, and the tip by Fernando, no good. It goes out of bounds. Maryland ball and a fresh 30 on the shot clock.
Morcell, number 10 in blacks, making some really good reads when he catches that basketball in that painted area. He's just missed a couple point-blank range. I thought he went a little too deep there, allowing that length of that front line of Syracuse to impact his shot.
Morcell, the first Baltimore prospect to sign with Maryland in the Mark Turgeon era, and if he builds a fence around that DC Baltimore metro area, you're going to see Maryland in the top 25 for a lot of years.
He's got a 5-star in 6'11" Jalen Smith coming next year out of that same area.
Cowan leaves it off, and Fernando tried to bring the whole house down with that one.
I'll tell you what, he is violent. I think he's got an issue with the rim up there. Because I'm serious, he tries to take it out on the rim every single time he gets. Watch this, folks. I mean, he just goes up angrily at the rim. I think he and the rim got an issue with each other.
That's what you call bad intentions.
Oh my God.
Bruno Fernando. 7 points make it 8 for the freshman from Angola by way of IMG Academy.
And folks, he's got a lot of potential. And the ability to be able to shoot his free throw, 67% coming into this game. And I love bigs who can shoot free throws, because then you don't have to play the substitution game down the stretch and sacrifice rebounding. This kid's going to be a star.
Maryland fans watching this telecast, if you haven't seen enough of him, Mark Turgeon describes him as a 6'10" Des Wells. That's high praise.
Wow. That is high praise. Des Wells was a monster, both at Xavier and when he transferred here to Maryland.
Terps with a 2-point lead, looking to add to it. Loose ball, Fernando picks it up and puts it home. Back-to-back trips down the floor with points from Bruno Hernando. That ball tipped out of bounds. It'll stay Maryland basketball.
I'll tell you what, Frank Howard has been absolutely impressive in this game. When he's been able to get out in transition, he does a great job of bodying you to the rim, and he can finish with either hand. He is difficult to deal with in transition.
Yeah, you talk about the length of Syracuse's guards. I'm impressed with their physicality.
Indeed. 6'5" and 6'6" respectively between Frank Howard, 23, and Tyus Battle, 25. That is tough.
Cowan, deep three. Around and out. Big offensive rebound, though, by Herder.
Yeah, Morcell should have taken that shot.
Justin Jackson looks like he was trying for the lob, but it went to nobody in particular. And a nice look ahead from Howard to Sidibe. It gets knocked out of bounds. It'll be Syracuse basketball. End-to-end action in the second half, just like it was in the first half, but now it's Maryland with a 2-point lead on the road against Syracuse. Terps with a 44-42 lead over Syracuse. You say Maryland, I say multicultural.
I'm Sean Obi. I'm from Kaduna, Nigeria. Obi Uto Omeme.
Hi, I'm Alejandro Tostado from Mexico. Felices fiestas. Hi, my name is Joshua Tomás, Canary Islands from Spain. Felices fiestas.
My name is Michael Tchaikovsky. I'm from Slovakia. Vesele sviatky všetkým.
My name is Ivan Bender. I'm from Croatia. Sretni blagdan.
My name is Justin Jackson. I'm from Toronto. We out here, eh?
My name is Bruno Fernando. I'm from Angola. Festas Feliz.
A very international feel to this Maryland Terrapins team, who has a 2-point lead on the road. And they were all saying happy holidays, by the way. Not everybody is like LaFonso Ellis, who speaks 15 languages.
That's hilarious.
But
I can barely speak English.
But they all said happy holidays in their native tongues. Bunch of good kids on this Maryland Terrapins team, and they can all ball as well. Frank Howard ties the game up. He leads all scorers with 13.
He's been so good, playing with such a high level of confidence, impacting every game, every aspect of the game. Defensively, 5 steals in this game, 13 points, had 6 dimes in the first half.
Jackson measured it and missed it.
Syracuse will take that shot all night long.
They almost dare you to take that shot.
Yeah, you want to be able to touch the paint to get those inside out threes. That was a poor shot there by Maryland.
Here's Battle.
No slip.
Spin move, Brissett. And you heard the collective groans from the Syracuse crowd here inside the Carrier Dome. There's Darryl Morsell with the bucket.
Rich, look where that came from. An early push, was able to kick it down to Cowan. They had numbers underneath. Center's peeking at Cowan, and he's able to drop that thing underneath to Bruno Fernando. They've got to continue to push the pace in this game.
Sidibe. Some nimble feet for the big guy.
I like him. And folks, this is what we've been talking about the entire game. Maryland is built to play fast, and even though they didn't have the initial thrust, with Cowan being able to get it underneath, now they're able to cause that back line of the defense to have to help over, and Bruno Fernando has been in the perfect place often here in this game.
Terps in the midst of a 7-2 run. Sidibe at the line. He has 7 points on the night.
Bruno Fernando with 14 points tonight off the bench. He's done a terrific job for the Terps.
Even Bender comes in his place. And Sidibe with a good stroke from the free throw line, which might come as a surprise to the Syracuse faithful. Came in 4 for 16 from the charity stripe.
Only 25%.
Looked smooth there.
Yes, he did.
And now the crowd's starting to get loud. We're tied at 46, 14-22 to go. Game 1
got numbers
of the Big Ten ACC Challenge, and that ball is airmailed into the orange crowd.
And I said I wanted to go quick, but not that quickly there. You got numbers. That was a 3-on-1. You got to take your time and make sure that you get a layup or foul or both. Poor execution there in transition by Maryland.
Maybe a little bit of a freshman mistake by number 10 in black, Darryl Morsell. Battle. Howard working on the smaller Cowan. It's Battle, aggressive, and gets the shooter's touch on his home court.
Yeah, Maryland has shown no ability to be able to guard these big physical guards from Syracuse. They've been able to get in the lane at will.
Listen to this crowd, 20,000 strong. Poked away, but Herder comes back with it. Cowan initiated the contact. They're going to get him. The foul's going to be on Matthew Moyer.
And folks, when you are 6'6", 6'5", 205 respectively, look at the power here as he goes inside. I did think he cleared out the defense just a little to create the space, but Tyus Battle and Frank Howard are monsters at the guard positions when they get down in the lane. So far, Maryland has had no answer for them off the bounce. Inside Morsell, outside Jackson, got it.
That is perfect execution against the 2-3 zone by Maryland.
Doesn't get any better, Rich. I love inside-out threes, man. Such a higher percent. Even when you look at the numbers, there's such a high percentage. And oftentimes, that's where you're getting passed to in practice. So you're used to the ball coming out at you at that angle. Well done by Maryland.
Back and forth we go. Brissett, wild shot. And here comes Herter. Cowan Jr. ahead of the field. No. And Syracuse comes away with it. Now they've got a 3-on-2 of their own. And Howard finishes. Frank Howard has been a star tonight, Fonz.
2 games in a row. Came into this game 25 in the last game. Herter quiets the crowd. He's a gamer, isn't he?
15 points for Howard, 14 points for Herter. A 2-point Maryland lead, 12 minutes to go. A late call, and it's an offensive foul.
Great job by Daryl Morsell, number 10 in black, getting in front of that drive.
Timeout on the floor, 11:58 to go. Jim Boeheim's got to find an answer for the Red Mamba.
Oh, folks, sometimes when you can't get it in the lane, you got to have somebody who can knock down deep threes, and that was a deep one by Herter.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and it's game 1 of 14 between the Big Ten and the ACC, and it's turning out to be a doozy from the Dome. Maryland leads at 52-50 with 11:58. And how has Maryland, LaFonso Ellis, been able to bust this Syracuse 2-3 zone?
Playing with a 2-guard front, forcing the 2 defensive guards to have to play up. Now that creates a crease to be able to get that basketball into the foul line area. And I've talked all night about inside-out threes to the high post area here, kick out to the 3, higher percentage shot, and they've been able to knock it down when they've done that. I'd like them to continue to do that in the half court, but they gotta play faster after turnovers and missed shots.
We've had 12 ties, 15 lead changes. Syracuse has dominated from inside the paint, but Maryland's starting to come alive from outside. Inside. No good from Tchaikovsky, but Maryland gets it back and promptly loses it. Gino Thorpe misses at close range.
The patience there of Howard. Last year, we tried to rush to make something happen, and look at the poise that he's playing with. What a difference a year makes.
10 on the shot clock. And they trust Howard in situations like this now. Calls his own number. And missed, but the offensive putback is good. And the foul. O'Shea Brissett will go to the line with 3 the hard way.
That's now 14 offensive rebounds for the Orange. They are plastering Maryland on the glass. Hey, look at this, folks. When the shot goes up, Maryland all night long have not been seeking bodies. You leaving wide open guys there to be able to run to the backboard. O'Shea Brissett in perfect position to be able to put that one back in.
Balanced scoring from Orange. Battle with 9. Howard with 15. Brissett with 9. Dolezaj with 8. Sidibe's chipped in with 8 points. And it's a 1-point Syracuse lead.
Gonna take it.
Jackson. He might have been too open on that jump shot. They go inside out again. Wiley can't connect from long range, and Brissett another rebound.
Jackson's good off the bounce. Every now and then he's got to take that center to the hole. That's a mismatch when he catches that ball at the foul line.
7 rebounds now for O'Shea Brissett. And a traveling violation on Syracuse. Well, it's the Big Ten ACC Challenge continuing this week on ESPN. Wednesday, it'll be Michigan taking on 13th ranked North Carolina from Chapel Hill at 7:30. And then #1 Duke and Indiana from Assembly Hall. It's going to be another great night of hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app.
It'd be funny if Miami got down to 3 players and see if they would have a chance to beat Minnesota as Alabama did last week.
Was that crazy or what? Wow. Colin Sexton with 40 points. He almost relished the opportunity to be 3-on-5 against Minnesota in that game.
Bro, they had a 14-point lead at that time, and they got that thing to 3. Incredible effort by the freshman.
That's one of 2 top 25 matchups in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Miami coming in ranked number 10. Minnesota ranked number 12.
We've had some great early season matchups this year. I don't know if we've had this many since I've been at ESPN. This is my 9th season.
Dolajai with the bucket, and he's in double digits with 10.
Tell you what, that's the one thing we've learned about this Syracuse team. They can flat out guard in that 2-3 zone, and they have multiple weapons on the offensive end.
Tip ball out of bounds, Syracuse basketball.
Rich, that was a misread there by Darryl Morsell, number 10 in black. You got to know your teammates out there on the floor. He decided to kick that ball out the Cowens. Had Jared Nickens, who's shooting 56% from the 3-point line, wide open in the corner, and he let them know about it after they threw that one away.
You tell me, partner, both of these teams preseason picked to finish in the middle of their respective conferences. Doesn't look like that to me.
I think the prognosticators got that one wrong.
Here's Brissett. And O'Shea Brissett misses, gets his own miss and puts it back. And he'll have to earn it at the free throw line.
Rich, do you see how quick his 2nd and 3rd jumps are off the floor? Incredible.
He's already had 2 double-doubles this season in their first 5 games. And O'Shea Brissett is on his way to another one tonight. 9 points, 8 rebounds so far for the freshman out of Ontario.
They're so excited about him. He does so many things out there on the floor. They just feel that the lack of experience, Coach Boeheim feels that's the only thing that's holding him back. And we've seen some of his ability off the dribble. Pretty nimble. And if you step up as a secondary defender, he's so good at spinning off of that thing and still being able to create some offense.
Coming off a 17-point, 14-rebound performance in their last win against Toledo. Herder. Wow! Ice in his veins. Kevin Herder with 17.
He shot that thing from Canada. My goodness.
And there's the Herder crowd. I guess you call them the Herder herd.
Yeah. 300
of them showed up in the Dome tonight.
He's now 5 of 6 from the 3-point line. Nice kick.
Brissett all alone. Short. Who wants it? It's going to stay Syracuse basketball with 8:28 to go, and the Cuse nursing a 1-point lead.
And folks, look how deep he is. His heels are, what, 3 feet maybe from the S? That's far beyond the NBA 3-point line, and he lets that thing go easily. Putting on the display in front of 300 of his hometown people who showed up at the game tonight.
Well, that's one way to bust the zone.
Indeed.
Shoot a 30-footer in your face.
The Red Mamba.
His dad, an accomplished basketball player at Siena. His brother, great athlete as well. Kevin Herder, number 4 in black, leading the charge for the Terrapins. And that foul is going to go on Anthony Cowan Jr. What would you like to see Syracuse do to get a bucket here?
Yeah, continue to do what they did earlier. They were either in the ball screen or reversal, which created an isolation situation, which allowed Howard and Battle to be able to get down in the lane and create plays. I'd like to see them get back to it.
And another whistle stops play with an even 8 minutes on the clock. It's been a seesaw battle between the ACC Syracuse Orange and the Big Ten's Maryland Terrapins. Cuse up 1.
28 teams, 14 matchups,
All kinds of stars.
That's absolutely beautiful.
One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Thank you, Chris. There are so many good games to look forward to just in this Big Ten ACC Challenge. Coming up on Tuesday at 8 Eastern, number 17 Louisville taking on Matt Painter's Purdue Boilermakers, then Michigan and North Carolina, Duke and Indiana. Blue bloods all over the place. And the nightcap to put the icing on this cake of the Big Ten ACC Challenge in its 19th year. It's going to be number 5 Notre Dame and number 3 Michigan State. Not only two great teams, Fonz, but two great teams playing great right now.
Really playing well. Both teams have been dominant on the offense. Ooh, what a move there. Both teams have been really pretty efficient. I'm still concerned about Michigan State turning that basketball over. Last year, they turned it over 20% of their possessions, and you can't give a team like Notre Dame that's efficient easy opportunities. So turnover is going to be a huge key for Michigan State winning that game against the Irish, even on Michigan State's home floor.
Morcell tried to squeeze it inside with the shot clock running down. It goes out of bounds. There's still 10 on the shot clock, and it's Maryland basketball.
Yeah, the spacing wasn't very good when he was trying to make that pass. The guy needed to be in the corner and on the wing. Everyone was crowded around the basketball. They're fortunate not to turn that one over. What a pass.
And that looked clean. And Sidibe better be careful. His teammate O'Shea Brissett holding him back. He didn't want to get teed up there and add insult to injury.
I'll tell you what, this Syracuse front line, man, they play with a little bit of an edge and got a little swag to them. I kind of like it.
Well, that was almost another assist from Kevin Huerter. How about this for the Maryland Terrapins offense tonight, Fonz? 20 assists, 20 made field goals.
Wow.
That's beautiful basketball.
It is gorgeous basketball. And they've been doing exactly what we said against that half court, is they've been getting it into the ACC area, and they've been making nice decisions there. It's been beautiful to watch.
Morcell ties it up with 1 of 2 free throws. It's 56 apiece, 7:33 to go.
This dude here with the basketball has controlled, for the most part, the tempo of this game. It really feels like Syracuse should be up 10, but they're down 1.
Every lead feels like it's 10. Brissett blocked by Fernando.
And the shoe came
Brissett
off.
lost his sneaker. It's 5-on-4 right now. Can Maryland take advantage? They can. Morcell with the bucket.
And Rich, that's something that we've talked about all night. When Maryland has played fast, they've had success on the offensive end, and Jim Boeheim is going nuts over there. Didn't like that shot attempt by Brissett.
Syracuse dominating in the paint, but trailing by 3 with 7:06 to go. Maryland leads 59-56 in their first true road game of the season, game 1 of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And with 7:06 to go, Syracuse with the timeout after a bad drive and maybe a freshman mistake by O'Shea Brissett.
Yeah, bad shots lead to runouts, and that's exactly what happened here. Cowan really wants it there, but couldn't hurt her on the push. And then the finish inside by Darryl Morcell in transition. And watch Coach Boeheim have a Seth Greenberg out-of-body experience as Brissett is coming over to the sidelines. And, you know, he'll be patient with his young people, but at the same time, in a tight game right there, you can't make that play because they've been so good at making the extra pass. Brissett missed an opportunity there.
Jim Boeheim has mellowed so much in his 73 years.
You think?
He's just a kinder, gentler Jim Boeheim, isn't he?
Yeah.
He still has the fire in his belly, Fonz.
You know it.
We got a good one in the opener of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. A 3-point Maryland lead, 7 minutes to go. And a foul away from the ball, and Bruno Fernando can't believe it. And Fernando is signaling to Mark Turgeon on the bench, I'm good. I could stay in, coach.
Rich, that was shielded. Did they foul him on the shot?
No, I guess they did, yeah.
That was shielded and couldn't see it. Let's take a look here.
It was with the leg.
Got it. Yeah,
with the leg.
Got to protect the shooter.
Yeah,
he hadn't landed yet. That's a good call.
It's the airspace, right?
That's a good call. Can't go into a cylinder. Good call by the official.
I love how Fernando wanted to stay in the game.
Can't blame him. I never wanted to get taken out either. Oh, coach, I can play. I'm okay. I know I got 4.
Digger wasn't having any of that.
He wasn't having any. He knew it, John McLeod.
1-point game.
Continue to be patient against that zone and attack the free throw line area.
Here's the lob along the baseline. Obi got fouled after a couple of pump fakes.
Which, remember, we said earlier that because of Syracuse paying such attention to that free throw line there, that backside is wide open. That's a really nice read over the top because it's been open. Look how far the back line is up. And now all of a sudden it opens up that backside there, and all you have to do is throw it over the top because there's not much pressure on the basketball. That was a terrific read by Anthony Cowan.
There's Sean Obi, who will be going to the line. Not getting a lot of minutes in the first 7 games of the season for Mark Turgeon. Only 1 for 2 from the free throw line as well.
Thinks D-Bay's done for the night. He's fouled
that's his
out.
5th foul.
But he was active for the Qs, and on that glass, running in transition, his future is bright.
Just a freshman out of Newark, New Jersey. Played for the Gray Bees of St. Benedict's.
Nice.
And now it's Sean Obi at the line.
Played at Rice before Duke. His freshman year there, led Conference USA in rebounding and was the nation's best rebounding freshman. Unfortunately, he's been saddled to the sideline with a lot of injuries, but he is a monster on that glass.
And Obi goes 1 for 2.
What was good for Syracuse early, Rich, was when they were able to get some ball screen action to allow Howard to get down into the lane. And they also did some isolation when they've been able to reverse the ball. They've got to get back to it.
Howard working on Herter. Nice lead for Pascal Chukwu for 2.
That was created by Frank Howard's ability to create off the bounce. Syracuse needs a lot more of that in his last 6 minutes of this game.
They're on their feet again in the dome. Callan, straight line drive, no. And a foul stops play with 5:51 to go.
And folks, Frank Howard has been sensational off the dribble. Look at here. Herter reaches, which opens up the right side, and he is terrific with his vision, being able to see the second line and what they're doing. How about a beautiful drop-off pass underneath? Pascal Chukwu didn't really even have to jump and sent that one in.
Anthony Cowan at the line. And he is, for most of the time, money from the free throw strike. 3 for 3 tonight, came in 87% on the season.
Yeah, he's at his best when he's pushing the tempo, getting in the lane, creating opportunities for himself and his teammates. He's going to have to get going here in this second half himself.
He says he models his game after Isaiah Thomas. Well, it's IT time right now. Let's see if Anthony Cowan shows up.
Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas?
No, come on. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Isaiah Thomas.
So in that case, say Isaiah Thomas, and we'll refer to the older one as the Isaiah Thomas.
Here's Dolezaj. Out of bounds, Syracuse ball.
When Syracuse hasn't come up with the offensive rebound, their length on the interior has kept so many balls alive for them and been able to maintain possession. It's been incredible to watch.
Let's see who they try to get a shot off from the out of bounds play. It's Howard. Fight for the ball goes Maryland's way. I'll tell you, Marek Dolezaj is a workhorse underneath. He's a beanpole, and he's only going to get bigger, just a freshman. But on weak side rebounds, he has been dominant in this game.
Yeah, if you don't get a body on him, he runs straight to the front of that rim, and he also has very quick second and third jumps. We've seen that on display often here tonight.
They're going to need his length now on the defensive end. Coming up on 5 minutes to go. Maryland clinging to a 1-point lead.
Got to get it to the ACC area. He's open.
5 on the shot clock. Cowan. Jackson for 3. Too strong. And there's Brissett with another rebound.
Rich, I think Maryland should consider put Justin Jackson, number 21 in black, in that free throw line area. He's a bit better of a playmaker from there than the bigs of Maryland.
Here's O'Shea Brissett with the ball. He's got a double-double tonight. And he adds to his totals. A chance at a three-point play. And Jim Boeheim's fired up on the sidelines.
Rich, we talked about for Syracuse, dribble, drive, action has been good for them all night long. This time is Brissett able to get down into the gap. And this kid is incredible at attacking the rim. Look at Jim Boeheim flexing over there on the side. You think he's got juice still at 73? I think he does.
That's a 73-year-old acting like an 18-year-old. Brissett finishes the three-point play, and it's the loudest it's been all night in Syracuse.
What a game.
Morsell all alone. The follow, no. Jackson, a big rebound, surrounded by Orange. No whistles, Syracuse ball. Howard better look out from behind. He had his pocket picked by Cowan. And Boeheim is livid, wanting the foul call. Fernando again tried to tear the rim down.
I'm telling you, we got to do a little research.
And Jim Boeheim is on the court right now. Better be careful.
And folks, dribble drive has been so good for Syracuse, and Brissett is able to get down the lane under control, and Syracuse 2-point lead.
Thank you guys. Back in the Carrier Dome on the campus of Syracuse University. Rich Hollenberg, LaFonso Ellis, and we have been treated to a terrific opening round matchup in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse with a 2-point lead, 63-61, and it only gets tougher for Jim Boeheim and company after this game. They have to play Kansas on Saturday in Miami, part of the Hoop Hall Invitational, and then they revisit the old Big East. UConn in the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden. A couple games after that, they go to take on the Fighting Pat Ewings of Georgetown.
What a schedule. When you talk about the importance of tonight's game, for them to get some momentum going into that deal, they are playing like it.
Fernando with 11 points, but he missed the first free throw. Big spot for the freshman, and he knocks down the second one. 12 points for Bruno Fernando, and it's a 1-point game again. And Fonz, the story of this game has been the outside shooting of Maryland and the inside dominance of Syracuse.
Absolutely. Syracuse has been absolutely terrific on that offensive glass.
A 40-20 edge, points in the paint for the Cuse. 9 for 20 shooting from 3 for Maryland. And there's a big bucket by a big baller, Tyus Battle.
Tyus Battle doesn't think that Herter can guard him out there. He just waved off the ball screen and said, I got this. So see if that continues to be a storyline here to close this second half.
Herter. A rare miss. It's on the floor.
That should have been a foul on Battle.
I thought so too.
Yeah. And folks, watch at the beginning of this play here. Battle recognizes that he has Herder on them, and they've been able to take him off the dribble all night long. And sometimes you just put that thing up there when you got it going, and it finds a way into the hole. And that was certainly the case for Battle. They have been aggressively attacking Herder, whether it's Battle or Howard.
Another freshman, Daryl Morcell, at the line. He knocks down the first to give him 8 points and cut the Syracuse lead to 2.
I love his toughness and his grit. For the most part, he's done a nice job when he's caught that basketball around the ACC area tonight. He's made some good passes and been able to get to the hole as well.
1 for 2. Another rebound for Mr. Double-Double, O'Shea Brissett. Under 3 minutes to go. Syracuse looking to remain undefeated on the season. Maryland looking for their first true road win of the year.
Tell you what, young people, if you're at home watching this game, you should watch Tyus Battle, 25 in white, work to get open off the screens. I mean, he sprints off of that thing once he gets a read.
Battle 79% from the free throw line, came in averaging 20 points a game, and that's quite an accomplishment as a Syracuse Orange basketball player. Only 13 SU players, Fonz, have finished a season averaging 20 points or more.
Really? Wow. He's so good.
Battle missed the front end. It remains a 2-point Syracuse lead and a timeout on the floor. Syracuse with 2 timeouts remaining. Maryland with 2 as well. 2:45 to go. Well, we talk about Tyus Battle being the dude for Syracuse. Well, he's got a sidekick in Frank Howard, number 23.
Frank Howard sets the table for this team with his great feel out there on the floor. He's been able to get in the gaps anytime he's wanted to, able to score and get his teammates involved. And the vision that he has at 6'5", incredible, and his ability to be able to finish around the rim with either hand, he's been sensational tonight.
15 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 6 steals. He's done it on both ends of the floor, Fonz.
He has. It's just so fun to watch. I mean, I've watched him since he was a freshman, Rich, and just to see him struggle last year with his confidence and, you know, lost his starting spot to Gillen last year, and he just wasn't the same from there. But I tell you what, he's gotten off to a tremendous start this year. He's put a lot of work in his game, especially on that jump shot last summer.
Mark Turgeon not happy with the offensive execution out of the timeout. 2.5 left. 4 on the shot clock. The freshman Morcell had it blocked by Chukwu.
Thought he should have taken that little jump shot there.
And now Syracuse content to walk it up.
Sometimes, man, when you're playing against good defense, the first good look you get, you got to take it. And he had a 12-footer that he turned down.
Battle working on the freshman. Here's Howard, no whistle. There's 5 to shoot. Battle pulls the trigger. Can't get it to go. Dolezaj can't get it either.
Got to push.
Out to Herder. And he got it again. Kevin Herder with a dagger. 20 for the sophomore. And Maryland's up by 1. Timeout Syracuse. They have 1 remaining. And Kevin Herder has lifted up this Maryland Terrapins offense. He is 6 for 8 from long range.
And Rich, we talk about it all the time that this team should play with pace, and now all of a sudden that defense is now below the free throw line, and Herder walks into yet another deep 3. How huge has he been tonight in this game?
6 3-pointers for Kevin Herder, the sophomore out of Clifton, New York, about 130 miles, just a 2-hour drive from his hometown, and 300 of his closest friends and family members are on hand inside the dome to watch what has been a season high so far for Kevin Herder.
6 for 7 from the 3-point line. He's been hot tonight.
His last three gives Maryland a 1-point lead with 1:35 to go. What do you think Syracuse does on this possession? A must-get basket.
Got to get that basketball, keep it in Frank Howard's hands, number 23 in white.
There's almost like a half lob, half shot from Howard. And we're going the other way. Tonight at 11:30 Eastern after Monday Night Football on ESPN, join SVP for SportsCenter. He'll have Dabo Sweeney join the show on the eve of the last rankings announcement, with the Tigers poised to make another run at the College Football Playoff Championship. Plus, he'll have a breakdown of the AFC playoff race and a Monday staple, bad beats from SVP, who I'm sure is watching this game right now.
Indeed. I'm watching that one, though. I love Dabo Sweeney. I don't know about you, Rich, but I got Clemson, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, and Auburn as my four.
I'm buying what you're selling, partner. Brissett lost it. It's on the floor. And they're calling that a jump ball?
Out of bounds, actually,
out of
when he dove. Yes, should be Syracuse ball. Brissett, he's usually a little sure-handed with the basketball. A little nerves there, almost turned that one over. Syracuse fortunate there.
We said it at the top of this telecast, Fonz. A lot of late November games feeling like it's late March. This one, you could say the same thing.
Got to be in Battles and Howard's hands here down the stretch.
Here's Battle. They called this place the Roundhouse on the Hill, Fonz. You could change that to the Loud House on the Hill right now.
Indeed.
68-66, Tyus Battle with the huge three-pointer.
And folks, at the end of games, you want the basketball in the hands of your best players. They are Frank Howard and Tyus Battle. Frank Howard able to get some more dribble penetration down in the lane, causing the defense to have to help. And what a huge three by Tyus Battle from the left corner. I don't think that back has been bothering him much tonight because he's doing fantastic.
He's running on adrenaline now. You could bet that for sure. This is what it looks like, and this is why players love to play in the Carrier Dome.
That's terrific.
That wasn't a buzzer beater, but it almost reminds you of that Christian Watford three when Indiana beat Kentucky a few years ago.
That's good, Rich.
Right now it's a 68-66 Syracuse lead over Maryland. 54 ticks left.
I think they're looking to see if that was indeed a three or if his toe was on the line. Oftentimes right or left-handed shooters. A right-handed shooter likes to point that right toe forward. A left-handed shooter likes to point that left toe forward. And there's not a lot of room in those corners, so they're looking to see if that was a three or a two.
And just looking over across the court at Mark Turgeon's huddle, it's amazing how youth is served in college basketball. A couple of sophomores, Cowan and Herder, a couple of freshmen in Fernando and Morcell. And Justin Jackson's a sophomore as well. No upperclassmen for Maryland, and this is crunch time in the most important game so far this season for them.
And yet they do have three seasoned guys with Herder, and so what they're checking, folks, check what I was saying earlier, they're checking, it must be a timing issue, so they're trying to make sure that the time on the clock is appropriate.
When the timeout was called.
Yeah. So we'll rewind that thing and see. Let's take a look, Rich, and see if we can figure out when the timeout was called. And I'll run a little clock here on my phone and see.
Well, if any officiating crew is going to get this right, it's this one. 14 Final Fours between them. Teddy Valentine, John Gaffney, and Jamie Luckett.
Let's see when the timeout was called here. Official timeout. Now.
That is when the clock stopped, isn't it?
When the clock stopped. Looked like it to me. Let's see if it kept running. Nope. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the issue is because the time is correct.
Well, ultimately what this becomes is an extra timeout for Mark Turgeon and for Jim Boeheim.
Yes.
They both have one official timeout remaining. Possession arrow is with Maryland right now. 54.4 left. Both teams in the bonus. Maryland in the double bonus, meaning they'll be shooting 2 free throws with every subsequent Syracuse foul. Syracuse undefeated at 5-0 on the season coming in. Maryland's lone blemish in their first 7 games, a 2-point loss to St. Bonaventure 2 games ago. This is game 1 of a 14-game odyssey, the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge, and what a dandy it's been. Coming up next, Wisconsin and Virginia. So they took about 3 seconds off the clock. 51.4 remaining. And Teddy Valentine just came over to explain it to us.
He was telling us that the clock didn't stop when it went under 60. And so they needed to correct the error that there was a 3-second difference. Now they can't get away, Rich, from what has been so good for Maryland throughout this game. That ball's got to touch that ACC area. Syracuse will try to prevent it.
5 to shoot. Cowan lost it, and Battle comes away with it.
Wish they got a foul.
And they do right away. The shot clock and the game clock are virtually identical at 26 seconds left. Syracuse with a 2-point lead, and they're going to the line to shoot 1 and 1.
Frank Howard did a nice job of not allowing them to get the angle, and Cowan just lost the basketball there. Wow, he's usually pretty sure-handed with the rock.
And that was Frank Howard's 7th steal of the night. And who else would you want at the line right now if you're Syracuse than Tyus Battle?
Big. And folks, we talked about turnovers would dictate the end of this game. That's the 17th turnover for Maryland in this game.
16 for Battle. And it's a 4-point Syracuse lead. 20 seconds to go.
Got to get some dribble penetration here.
Try to force it inside of Morcell. And it's another Maryland turnover. And they foul again right away. Chukwu goes down. Well, as terrific as Kevin Herter has been tonight, he might have tried to force that one in between Syracuse defenders a little too much.
He did, and that's been the bugaboo for this Maryland Terrapin team this year. They've been able to get away with it. 3 games this year where they've turned the basketball over 20 or more. To your point, Rich, tried to force that thing in there, and with the 2 guards at the top of that zone at 6'6" and 6'5" with long arms, that's a tough pass to make. Missed opportunity there by Maryland.
And wouldn't you know it, it was Frank Howard who got his mitt on that basketball. Chukwu misses. And it's a 2-shot foul, double bonus already for Syracuse.
Frank Howard now with 7 folks, 7 steals in this game.
So there's 13 seconds left, 1 free throw to go. Obviously that's going to dictate a lot. But if he misses this, do they have to shoot a 3 right away?
If Cowan can get it in his hands, he's one of those guys that can get over half court in 2 to 3 seconds. See if they can find Herter trailing. Herter or Jackson, 21 in black.
He missed them both. Here comes Herter. They got a rush. Herter for 3. Got it! 7.2 left. And the final timeout called by Mark Turgeon. We have a 1-point game again. Wow. Well, Mark Turgeon told us before the game at practice today that he felt very strongly that Kevin Herter was going to play well in front of his friends and family making the drive over from Clifton Park. And he has lived up to his coach's expectations.
Herter has hurt them tonight from 3. I mean, look at the poise and look at how deep some of the 3s have been that he's taken. And we talked about that, Rich. If they can get an early push, I thought the ball would be in Cowan's hands. But with Herter having played the point guard position in high school, brought that thing up under control, calmly lets that thing go. What a huge 3. Now down only 1.
He's now 3 points shy of his career high. with a timeout on the floor. Let's toss to Chris Cotter in studio. Thank you, Chris. With all due respect, I don't think we would mind an extra 5 minutes or so of basketball. It's been an entertaining opening game of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse with a 1-point lead over Maryland, 7.2 seconds left. Syracuse will have to go the length of the floor right now, and obviously Maryland is in foul mode right away. They've added 0.3 of a second to the clock, so it's 7.5 now, and Syracuse inbounding.
I always like my guards to be back behind the three-point line to give themselves room to run. Got to go for a steal. Wow.
They've got Battle who leaked out. And that is the exclamation point. A 3-point lead, 5.6 to go. Maryland still has time. And Tyus Battle wisely fouls with 3 seconds left.
How about the alert play there by Tyus Battle?
And a terrific pass from the freshman Brissett.
Watch this, folks. There's no one playing center field. Battle read it beautifully, and what a pass. And the finish. Syracuse has really executed out-of-bounds situations really well throughout the balance of this game tonight. None better than that one.
And Tyus Battle had 5 points in the first half, 13 in the second half. Cowan at the line, shooting 2. He's got the first to make it a 2-point game, 72-70. And now offense for defense substitutions by Mark Turgeon. Fernando and Tchaikovsky check in. He's looking for a rebound off a potential miss.
Yeah.
He missed it on purpose, the loose ball. Syracuse gets it, and they get fouled with 0.7 left.
Yeah, I thought with 3 seconds, Rich, I thought he should have made the free throw or looked to make the free throw and then foul right away, because at least you can go to the length of the court with maybe 2.7 on the clock. So.
And there's Dolezaj again. We were extolling his offensive rebounding skills. Those long arms, he seems to find himself in the right spot at the right times.
So I didn't agree with that one, partner. I thought he should have made that free throw.
Brissett misses the first. 0.7, it's almost academic. There's really not much that Kevin Huerter or anybody from Maryland can do. What a terrific ball game it was to open up the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. 72-70, Syracuse remains undefeated with the win. That's it from the Carrier Dome. Coming up next, we'll head over to Charlottesville, where Virginia is taking on Wisconsin in Game 2 of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. For Fonz, I'm Rich. So long from Syracuse.